Hey, what's up, you guys? FilmFan0599 here again, and welcome back to the universe of the Bluetubers. And today on the universe of the Bluetubers, I'm going to be reviewing When the World Comes Down by the All-American Rejects. This album was released in 2008, and let's go back to a time like that, in I want to say middle to late 2000s, really. Mr. Double Nine was obsessed with two bands at that time, and those two bands were first being Fall Out Boy and the other being the All-American Rejects. He was obsessed with both of those bands, and he still loves one of those two bands till this day, the All-American Rejects. The All-American Rejects have always been one of my favorite bands. I've always enjoyed their music. I've always enjoyed their alternative pop rock sound. I've always enjoyed them. Move Along was an album I really grew up with. And this album too, When the World Comes Down. And the reason I'm talking about this album is because me and my good friend Metallica Maniac, we were both discussing this album. I was like, you know what, I really want to listen to this again, and maybe even do a review for it. And I gotta say, re-listening to this, I think I might like this a bit more than Move Along now. I seriously do, because everything about this album is just perfect. I legitimately, love this album to death. It is such a fantastic album. I loved it beforehand, but I think I love it even more now, listening to it more and more. It's just fantastic. First being, I love the production on this thing. The production is just fantastic on this album. It definitely, sticks with that, alternative pop rock feel that, this band is known for. And it really works with this album, and even more so with, this album has more right going for it than more wrong going for it. Just everything is so great. Like I said, the production is fantastic. Tyson Ritter does such a fantastic job with his vocals on this album. It's definitely some of the best vocal work he's ever done in his career. I've always loved Tyson Ritter as a, as a vocalist and as a frontman. He's always been a very enjoyable frontman to me. And, he just seems like a cool dude in general. I've seen interviews with him. It just seems like a cool dude. And he just does such a fantastic job with his vocals on this album. Nick Wheeler does such a great job on the guitar on this album. He's so fantastic. Some of the guitar work he does, on songs like Falling Apart or Believe, just those are two prime examples to me. The guitar work on those songs are fantastic. On this whole album in general. And also Chris Gaylor does, Chris Gaylor, that's how you say his last name. He was great on the drums. He was fantastic. He really does a lot of great drumming work on this too. So yeah. So let's talk about some of the songs on this album. Let's first talk about the three big singles that came off of this album. The first one that was released was, of course, Gives You Hell, a very popular song in 2008, 2009, really. You could not escape this song in 2008 and 2009, and I love this song to death. It's such a song that I grew up on a lot. I remember, who remembers the show VH1 Top 20 Countdown? That was my MTV as a kid. That was my MTV. That's how I discovered artists, music videos, songs. That's how I discovered stuff like that. And I always remember seeing the music video for this. I still love the music video to this, the music video to this song to this day. And just this whole song is great. I also remember we couldn't say hell as kids, so we had to switch hell to well. Whenever we would sing it, we would sing, gives you well instead of singing hell. It's just, well, I'm not gonna lie, whenever my mom wasn't looking, I'll say gives you hell. But yeah, that's just a funny little story with that song. And, and also with the song, and what I've noticed with this album really, is that I think the main concept of it is a fallen relationship. Because a lot of these songs I've noticed are about relationships. This being one of them. Gives You Hell. This is about a girlfriend that cheated on him, and now he's kind of just, he hates her now. And, he hopes she basically goes to hell for what she's done. And I also love the one lyric in the song where where he goes, when you find a man that treats you, when you find a man that gives a damn and treats you well, he's a fool, and you're just as well gives you hell. Like, I always love that. That's basically like, whoever goes with you now is basically a fool and will fall for your tricks, and you'll do the same thing to him that you did to me. You know what I mean? That's why I look at that whenever I hear that lyric as well. And it's just a great song about, like, just kind of being angry at someone because of what they've done to you in a relationship, really. And I've always loved that song. And even still to this day, I still listen to it a lot, and I still love it. Like, also some other songs where, kind of tests the relationship, like songs like Falling Apart, like I mentioned earlier. Falling Apart is a great fun song about, like, being in a fallen relationship or whatever, like it's really falling apart. And, like, I love the keyboard with that. Even the violin. Like, the violin just makes that entire song when you hear that. Like, just when you hear it, like, I always have a smile on my face whenever I hear that. Like, it's so great. It adds so much to the song to me. I just love that song as well. That's another great one. Like I mentioned, the other singles, like I Wanna, which was the last single to be released off of this album. And that's just a great song about, like, being, like I said, a lot of these songs are about relationships. From what I noticed and what I have assumed, a lot of these songs are about relationships, and I Want is another one, which is you just want to be with that person. Like, you want to be with that certain person, just want to hold them, touch them. Like, the lyric in the song, I wanna touch you, you wanna touch me too. And, just like, just wanted to be with that person. You want to be with that certain someone. And it's just a great fun song about that. I always enjoyed that song as well. Just another just great pop rock tune that's just enjoyable to listen to. I absolutely love also the guitar. Also in Falling Apart, the guitar work, like I mentioned, whenever he says, and no matter how far, when Tyson Ritter says, no matter how far, and then you hear Nick Wilder just come in with the guitar, Nick Wilder with the guitar, like you hear the bang, like it's just so fantastic. It really works with that song. And I Want is another one where the guitars just really kick in, and I love that about the song. So, yeah, I Want is another great one. Even Mona Lisa, When the World Comes Down, which is, I guess you could say, the title track, because it has, the title of the album, and it has, like, a sidebar thing. And that's another great song. It's another, it's a really great acoustic guitar sound, like, they use acoustic guitars in that song. It's really just a nice song about, like, I guess you could say the world coming to an end, because that's kind of the thing I got from the song. It's about the world coming to an end, because, and he, maybe he wants this girl to be with him during the end of the world. Because with, the lyric, will you be with me when the world comes down? Like, he's kind of questioning, will you be with me when the world has basically gone to crap? And I also love that about that song, too. It's just, a nice song about the end of the world, basically. So, yeah. And also another song I quite enjoy is, Another Heart Calls. Like, that song is also great. Even the feature on that song, I believe the duo's name was the Piercings. Piercers, I think that's what their name was. Like, Tyson has, like, really good chemistry. When you hear them sing together and whatever, they actually have some nice chemistry with each other on the song. I really love that. Like, it really added a lot to the song. It actually flowed well with the song, and I thought it was a really nice job. Even songs like Believe or Breakin, and Believe are great too. And I also love how Believe transitions into when the wind blows. I love how it transitions into that. And The Wind Blows was another song I heard a lot as well. Not as much as Gives You Hell. I feel like this was kind of a single that went out under the radar, because, like, on the VH1, I remember, like, on the VH1 Top 20 Countdown, this did not nearly last as long as Gives You Hell. Like, this was only on there for about 4 weeks, I remember. For about a month. And it just wasn't there afterwards. Like, it did not last as long as Gives You Hell. And it makes me really sad, because The Wind Blows is such a great song. Like, it's a really great song about moving on from someone. Like I said before, a lot of these songs are about relationships. And I love this song. It's a great emotional song about just moving on just moving on. You know what I mean? And I love that. Like, it's just such a fantastic song, and I'm so sad that it never got the recognition it deserved because it didn't last that long. Like I said, like I feel like it's a very underrated, under the radar single from them because it didn't even last that long. It did not nearly last as long as Gives You Hell. You know what I mean? And it just makes me really sad. Like, it's such a great song. Like, really, Tyson Ritter just does such a fantastic job with his vocals on that song. Like, using the cymbal, like, you know, when Chris Gaylord uses the cymbal on it, like, it just adds a lot to that song. It's so fantastic. I'm so sad that it never got the recognition it deserved. Even with the hidden track, Sunshine, I think it ends the album on a very good note as well, you know. Very nice closing track as well. So yeah, overall, When the World Comes Down is such a fantastic album. I love When the World Comes Down. Like, like I said before, I think I love this a bit more than Moving Along now. Like, seriously, this is such a fantastic album. It's so great. If you've never listened to it, definitely give it a listen. It's so great. It's definitely one of the best, best, like, modern rock albums to me, like, in terms of, like, the 2000s. It's so great. So it's time for my official rating on When the World Comes Down, and my official rating on When the World Comes Down is a big old 5 out of 5. Definitely, this deserves a big old 5 out of 5. I love this album to death. It's so fantastic. If you've never listened to it, please listen to it. It's such a great album. I absolutely love it. So yeah. So, if you have listened to the album, what did you think of When the World Comes Down? Leave it in the comment section below. I'm FilmFan0599, and we will see you out later. Peace.